Hello, this is my submission for open source contribution part two. To begin, I wanted to talk about what contribution I wanted to make, which is I wanted to implement a feature for an open source project. And the feature I specifically chose was this matrix multiplication issue that someone wanted added to this project. So for next up, I wanted to touch on was the contribution guidelines of the project, which they give you specifically how to make your first contribution, but I'd assume it goes for all. They want you to fork the repository, then clone the repository, create a branch, then change on your forked branch, and then push to GitHub, which would then allow them to, would allow you to submit changes that they would review before pulling your request. I also wanted to quickly cover, they also gave a code of conduct, which just gives their pledge, standards, responsibilities for allowing people that wanted to contribute an easier way to communicate with people. So what is this project? This project is a collection of a bunch of data structures and algorithms, like specifically focusing on algorithms in a bunch of different languages, such as C++, Python, Java, and it's just a collection of a bunch of different algorithms. Exploring the files a bit. So you can see here they've got all of their stuff, but I specifically want to go into this algorithm section where they have a lot of their code. As you can see, you go into the algorithms and you can see all of the different languages, and then you can go, let's just go C++ for an example, and it'll give you all these different like categories where algorithms could go. So if we go into like arrays, for example, you can see there's all these different array algorithms, such as like reverse array here is probably going to reverse an array. So the contribution I made to the project was the matrix multiplication, and here's the code right here. It just checks to make sure that the two matrices can be multiplied, and then does the tedious task of going row and then column and multiplying them together and adding it all up for each individual, I guess, cell of the matrix. Um, and then after I did all of the coding, I then had to commit and then push that to my own repository, my fork repository, and then I would have to then push those changes onto the like main repository, which they would then review and then pull from if they accepted my code. One thing that I did learn from this was actually the idea of forking a repository, um, being able to create the repository and your like have your own version of the repository that you can edit on and then push it back onto the like main repository. So that was something new to me that I learned. Um, and something that did turn out as I expected was just the general workflow of like being able doing the GitHub, like the git push or the commit and all of that. I've done the process before, so I was very familiar with it. Like I said, I did learn how to do like the forking of a repository, so that was something new to me that I didn't quite expect. One roadblock that I encountered was actually finding a suitable repository to contribute to my open source project. I found this one and I thought it was a pretty simple like contribution I could make where it was a parser. However, once I started actually, excuse me, looking at the project, um, I found just that there was just a lot of different files and I didn't quite know how it was organized or how to approach it. So that was a very big roadblock and things that didn't quite work out for me as I intended. And that leads me to things that I learned from this that I would be able to improve upon is that the next time I'm looking to contribute to an open source project, I should really double check and make sure that what I'm trying to contribute to really matches my skill level and that I understand everything before just trying to code. And another thing that would benefit from that is actually communicating with the people that are already involved with the project and being able to get some guidance and help to be able to contribute better to the project. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.